Madam Chair, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Part B, amendment number 11, printed in House Report number 110-604, offered by Mr. Cuellar of Texas.
Pursuant to House Resolution 1126, the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Cuellar, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield myself as much time as I might consume. First of all, I want to thank the Chairman Oberstar, Mr. Oberstar, and also Chairman Cummings, also, and the ranking member from Ohio for the work that they've done on this particular bill. Also, Chairman Thompson from the Homeland Security for the work that they worked on this bill together. I also understand, Madam Chair, that this amendment is acceptable both to the majority and the minority, and it's also bipartisan. I believe Mr. Congressman McCall will be speaking on this bill amendment in a few minutes. Madam Chair, today the U.S. House of Representatives has an opportunity to improve the important and critical mission of the United States Coast Guard. One of the Coast Guard's most important functions is providing safety and security in international waters. I was born in Laredo, Texas. Laredo is located on the international border between the United States and Mexico. Our border is divided by the international waters called the Rio Grande River. There's been many efforts to improve security along the U.S.-Mexico border. Some of those partnerships between the local and federal government law enforcement agencies have proven to be beneficial. The border security responsibilities shared by law enforcement departments are complicated by the first responders who have to, from the local communities that are located on this international waters of the Rio Grande. The safety of the international boundary is a national security concern as the level of violence in Mexico increases and spills across the border. Drugs, cash, and people continue to cross the border into the United States despite our efforts. I'm consistently asked and contacted by local officials in my district who are asking for more support in their border security efforts, specifically for help in patrolling the international waters of the Rio Grande. Unfortunately, the local law enforcement agencies and the Border Patrol have limited resources for patrolling the international water boundary. As the Rio Grande represents over 1,200 miles of international border, I believe that it is time to address the critical needs to provide security on the Rio Grande River and not just along the shores of the Rio Grande River. My amendment would charge the U.S. Coast Guard to analyze what the current mission is along the international waters, including personnel and the assets assessment. My amendment also asks the U.S. Coast Guard to identify what resources will be needed to increase the Coast Guard presence along the international boundary. Madam Chair, there's been many discussions as to how to best secure the United States border along with Mexico. My amendment will simply allow us to consider the possibility of increasing the Coast Guard's presence in the area of unquestionable need, the international waters of the Rio Grande River, and I yield the balance of my time.
For what purposes, the gentleman?
Reserve the balance of my time.
You reserve. For what purposes, the gentleman?
Mr. Fortenberry, for bringing this amendment before the House. We accept it and yield back to the gentleman.
The gentleman from Texas.
I thank again the Chairman, Mr. Oberstar, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Cummings, ranking member from Ohio, and of course the gentleman from Texas, Mr. McCall. I yield the balance of my time. Thank you.
The question is on the amendment offered, all time having expired. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Texas. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted. It is now in order to consider amendment number 12 printed in